Hey everyone, and welcome to Grenades and Horseshoes, where we strive to bring good times, good feels, and general shenanigans every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Hi, how's everyone?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Okay,
Excellent,
good.
sir.
Good. Awesome. Well, we are at a dozen episodes. We are like eggs in that way. There are a dozen episodes. You can line them up. This is Grenades and Horseshoes, episode 12, and I am Mark Square, and this is,
Yuna,
and that is.
Just like eggs, Grey Ghost does not spoil.
Yeah, they're good forever.
but ooh, eggs do get grody over time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I found that out the other day. Eat some bad crackers. Bad things can happen to you.
12.
You know, it
Episode
takes
12.
a lot of it takes a lot of effort to find bad crackers
It does.
because they last forever.
They're supposed to. I'm not sure what happened, and these might have been sabotaged. There's a whole thing, like a whole Code Brown situation that happened because of it in the middle of a PvP match. It's just like, no.
Oh no!
You've been gone 1 week. And she's like,
We'll get down to those details later, I'm sure, in the show. Thank you, everybody who's joining us live in the chat here on twitch.tv/Planet Destiny. You know, we're here every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Yeah, and I think we're gonna, start our episode 12 with our normal segment of Your Week in Destiny.
and it should be said, welcome back, Yuna.
Welcome back,
thank
Yuna.
you.
She's healthy. She's alive, feeling good, glowing.
Yes, I'm not sick. Oh my gosh, I was so sick last week.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the only one. So there was a handful of people at work who were all just like literally on our rears, like for days. It was so bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just passing it around.
So
Yeah.
as you took the nice time off and were able to hang out at home, did you get to play Destiny, or were you just resting up?
I was so sick that I didn't play Destiny while I was at home sick. Also, like a lot of my work buddies play, so I feel really guilty if like I left them hanging and at work and they're having a horrible day, and then they come home and they log on, they're like, oh yeah, Kristen's on here playing video games.
Oh,
True.
So I try not to do that. I try not to tase my bros that way.
appear
but,
offline. What are you, an amateur? You just appear offline.
No, but I was so sick, like seriously, like I was like feverish chills on the couch,
Yeah, I knew she felt bad because she was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna not play Destiny and like go lay down." And I'm like, "Do I need to call some ambulance? What's happening here?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was our week in Destiny?
Well,
What would you like to say?
my week in particular was a little bit exciting. Got my second Callus run completed, which was much. The first time that you do anything with a team, it's just fighting uphill the whole time. That second time, way smoother. You walk in there like you've been there before. You know what you're doing, and you just knock the thing out. We were doing our normal kind of Monday night raid activity, and typically I wasn't anticipating that we just kind of blow through it, but I think we did it in just over 2 hours, so that made me feel pretty good. And then over time it's just going to get faster and faster.
Yep.
That was good. I jumped into a bit of Iron Banner, which we're going to talk about later on, so I'm going to save that. How about you, sir? What did you do this week in Destiny?
Well, I finally completed the raid. I wasn't in a huge hurry to get the raid done, so that's my excuse for taking so long. Also skill, and no, but it's all about getting that team that you really enjoy playing with. And honestly, I feel like with this raid, it's so mechanic heavy, and people are nervous to begin with while playing it. But if you get with a team that everybody's relaxed, and everyone can get out of their own way and out of their own head and just play, it just happens. It just happens so fast. Like last night was our second run with our regular raid team, which we'll do shout outs to them: Gray, Yuna, Paris, Dakota Dark, and Lawn Boy. So it's a really fun group, really chill group of people, really fun to joke with and have a good time. They don't yell at me ever for being a Derpa Sherpa, so I appreciate that. And we just had a blast. Like, and last night, just we kind of did it in a different way. We did the encounters, and instead of going back out to the main room, we went underneath from the encounter into the underbelly,
Mm-hmm.
grabbed the chest, and then came back up at another part of the raid, which was cool. It was almost like really like a two sides of a coin kind of a thing, like the really opulent upper with gold and white and everything's gleaming, and then you dive down under and it's like like smoke and dusty floors and just how
I didn't think that you were gonna like that, Mark, because the what is it, Castellum? I don't know how you pronounce it.
Castellum.
Yeah, that section of the raid, which you do what 3 times, 4 times, is your favorite part, and this skips it, right? You only have to do it initially.
It is my favorite, but I do realize that eventually, as with all content released, we'll hit a point where nobody cares about the chests anymore, right? Nobody wants them. Nobody's going to spend the time, right? So I think now is the time to do it that way. I think there'll be plenty of time later for just running back out, blitzing some ads, and going back into another encounter.
Yeah.
That's the way to be. I mean, like, eventually people stopped getting the Vault of Glass exotic chest. Like, it was just like, well, I mean, is it worth it for me to press a button when it's just going to give me stuff to break down? No.
That's
so
true.
My assumption is we'll get to that point with this as well, and then we'll be right back out there fighting a bunch of Cabal to open doors again, which will make me happy as well. So either way, it's a win-win.
Right.
Yep.
I was going to mention another kind of highlight to my week, which I don't know that if I shared with you guys. We jumped into guided games for the first time. We were short one person on our Guardian 1 Monday night raid team, and rather than kind of posting it in our own clan, we thought, hey, let's live up to our mission of Guardians helping Guardians and see who we can find out there. And we matched pretty quickly, about probably a 30-second wait time, and we got a younger kid, a guy who was like maybe 13 years old, had some experience in the raid but hadn't completed all the encounters. So we were able to kind of show him the ropes, teach him some different things that he could do. He was pretty competent for the most part, and we got all the way up to Gauntlet, and pretty much we're completed through Gauntlet before when he had to actually dive off. I think we had just finished the Gauntlet encounter and he got the chest, and he said that his mom and dad were yelling at him that he had to go to bed. So he had to leave. We ended up having Far from Ad Circus, the clan Ad Circus, come and join us, and then we just knocked out Callus pretty quickly. But our first experience of guided games was a positive one, in the sense that we had a player. Some people might get all salty and be like, oh, I'm playing with this young kid, and here we are, a group of 30, 40-year-olds that are playing the game. Definitely a generation gap, but it didn't really matter to us. It was fine. So we didn't really get bent out of shape about that. He was very receptive to the information, and he was seeking information. Like, he was wondering, like, okay, I'm going to go into this encounter. Normally I use, Nameless Midnight to clear out ads, and then I use this. What do you think I should use? And we were telling him, well, what do you have? If you have Merciless, that's probably your best option to take out these dogs or to take out the yellow bars, and that's probably what's going to give you the most trouble. So he was good in the sense that, he was interested in improving his strategy. And I don't know that I would have expected that, especially from somebody his age, also jumping into a random group. But it gave me confidence that while it's still a system that's going to need tweaking, I think it has a lot of potential.
Did you ask him how long? I'm sorry. Let's let Yuna do hers, and I'll go. I had a guided games experience as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So how was your week?
Oh, my week. So other than being sick, I actually got an extraordinarily large amount of stuff done. Like Friday night, I was, just tooling around. I'm like, you know what I want to do? I want to level my Warlock. And I started my Warlock, and I used it to raid on Monday night. And oh my gosh, it was so incredibly fast. Seriously, I was level 256 by the time I finished the campaign. And at no point did I have to grind or anything. It was insane.
Wow.
So
That's
easy.
awesome.
So much so that my next day off, I'm probably just going to do my Titan.
Might as well.
Right.
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, they slowed it down a little
wasn't as
bit,
long.
right? Because it used to be that once you hit max level, you could transfer over gear and weapons and just infuse, and you were at pretty much max light right away. So it's a little bit slower, and I was anticipating being frustrated with having some grind back into those second and third characters. But you're bringing up an excellent point, Yuna. It's not as bad as what you might think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I moved my main weapons over, and, I just played the normal, and I was getting very large, very fast blue drops, and it was just incredibly fast. It was way faster than I was expecting, so.
Mm-hmm. I only have one character. I don't plan to make another on the same. I want to have 3, but I want to play on 3 consoles. So I'm not doing that. So I want to tell you guys about my guided games experience this week. So it's okay. My friends bail on me on a Saturday night, right? It's like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Maybe I will, while slightly inebriated, try out guided games, right? So I'm a one person, as a single person. I go in and I hit Nightfall.
Did you hear that, ladies? He's a single person.
Oh, shoot, is it getting hot here? So I press the button, right? And it says estimated wait, 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
To be helped, right? So I'm like, all right, well, this is science. I put my controller down. I can see my TV. I'm like, tidying up. I'm drawing some, just having a good time. And 35, 40 minutes goes by, nothing.
Oh my gosh.
No help. No, none. Just spinning and spinning. So did you ask the guy that joined your fire team for the raid how long he had been waiting?
We did, and his was not that long. I think he said that it was only like 5-10 minutes. But that was a little bit odd, because when I went in to host, to go in as a guide, it said that matchmaking for guides was about a minute, but seekers was about 40 minutes. So I'm not sure how his matched so quickly, unless it was just, good connection.
It's fortuitous.
Yeah, it just kind of everything fit together. But right. I was surprised that who's going to have the patience as a seeker, right, to say I'm willing to wait 40 minutes to matchmake. And then the other side of it that made me a little bit frustrated is, why the heck aren't there more guide teams out there? Like, have they not done a good enough job incentivizing being a guide in the game?
Well, here's the thing. If I can compare it to World of Warcraft, where they do have a very similar matchmaking type thing for the raid, for lower versions of the raid and everything, I would say, and for their version of strikes and everything, for a single person to kind of jump in as a DPS on there, if they're not like a well sought after thing, it can take 90 minutes.
Oh,
now,
wow.
I think, yeah. But here's the thing, and here's the main difference, is with World of Warcraft, you can go off and do 8 million other things while you're waiting. You're not stuck. But from what I hear with the guided games, you are kind of like locked into waiting. You can't really do anything else, which is kind of the big flaw there.
Right.
They need to make that like a background thing. And when your time comes up, you either leave what you're doing and hit yes, I want to go, or you decline and you lose your spot.
Yeah, right. I totally agree. Agree.
So I think that's where they can improve on that.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion back to Bungie. If you guys, pick up on that, that would probably be very helpful for the user base. And I still think that there are certain things about being a guide that I didn't even know about. Like, you get a special emblem once you complete an activity as a guide. Maybe that was advertised somewhere. I didn't pick up on it, so I was super excited when I got what is actually a really cool looking emblem. The emblem looks excellent. So little things like that reward you as a as a guide and as a clan for participating in it, I think would go a long way, because they need to do something to get the guides up in the game. If you can't have seekers be waiting 40 minutes and then think that they're going to jump in and be excited and positive. They're going to be like, man, I've been waiting 40 minutes for this. And then if they have a bad experience, they're
going to be
done.
They're never going to do it again.
Because they've been bored, and they're just sitting there waiting. Yeah, so if anything, I think what we've got two calls to arms with this. Like, Bungie, if you could make it where you can be notified when people are ready, when your group of people are ready to help you, and as skilled groups of people, go in there and try the guided games, and help other people. There needs to be more guides. Like that's like in a nutshell, that's what's going on. Needs to be more guides. but I don't know that, like you said, the emblem is really cool. Like if you put it on now, I'll be able to see it, or you guys can see it when we do our live gameplay segment after the show. If Gray has it, or was that on Xbox?
It's
That
on
was
Xbox. We're going to be doing our live gameplay on PlayStation
Yeah,
tonight,
on
so I won't be able to show you. But soon enough, we'll get a Guided Games run through, I'm sure, on PlayStation.
Right.
Yep.
There is one thing that I struggle with guided games. Like I did that as a science experiment, but for the most part, the reason that I don't run more guides, be a guide more often, is because I don't want to lose somebody that I'm friends with. In other words, I'm going to kick someone out of my fire team to guide people, right?
Sure.
So it's almost like I need to set up ahead of time that, okay, I'm going to only contact, if I'm doing 4-player or, 3-player content, I only contact one other person, right? And then you
Mark
go
has
in with...
popular guide problems.
Hear that, guys? He's a popular lady.
I am a social butterfly, Mark.
He's got pocket protector problems. He's a nerd and he pre-plans all of his gameplay. And that's just what I do. Like I don't there's never a time that I hop online where I've not planned something for the most part.
Right. Well, what we've kind of decided is, and I don't know about I've kind of decided this for our Monday night raid group, right? If somebody can't make it because they're on vacation or they're, something else is going on, rather than getting a whole team of alts, right, alternative players that can jump in and take that spot, we just make a choice philosophically that we're not going to sign up alts. We're going to do guided games if we have an open spot and just do that. And we can certainly do that for our Tuesday night run that we do. Mark shakes his head; he doesn't want it.
No, this is the problem.
It's just because we have a hard stop time.
That's true. We do have a hard stop.
That would be kind of lousy. Be like, oh, so sorry.
Yep. And you actually get penalized for that because you actually are incentivized to complete the activity. That if you abandon it early, you do get kind of a penalty for it.
Right, and someone could be upset, and they would rightfully so be. They've waited so long to get in there, and then the team has to leave. Also, we have 2 alts already, so it's like,
that's true.
What are we gonna do? Just like, Khalif and Mike, Dakota's brother. So like we,
well, these are our problems that I'll cut out from the podcast, so we can talk about more interesting things than our Tuesday night.
We're getting dynamics. Off on tangent here.
I think it's good though. Like people need to realize that there are going to be sacrifices to be a guide. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be, your situation. Somebody, I think your idea is the best, Gray. If you're jumping into something and someone can't make it, jump right on. If you don't already have alt set up, that's perfect. Yeah,
the best way to fill that spot. Inexorable Ace. I think I'm saying that wrong. Inexorable Ace. Welcome to the chat. He's credited for doing our graphic design work on our logos. So thank you for coming. Guru Smoke, welcome to the chat. Glad to have you. If you have any questions for Gray, Mark, or Yuna, feel free to post them. We keep track of it. Twitch is just live YouTube. That is the name, not the statement, and I agree. Should we jump into to our first segment of the night, do you think?
We should.
Get right into it. All right. So, this week, my segment is not Gray's Ghost Stories. I'm actually going to bring a little salt to the podcast, a little seasoning. It's going to be Gray's Gripes, unfortunately, because I got a couple gripes that I want to bring up. A couple things that I'm just not very happy about, a little disappointed. And it's the state of the Iron Banner right now. One thing that you have to understand, especially about this particular group here, we love Iron Banner. We bonded over Iron Banner. One of the first things that we hosted together was Iron Banner and Brews, where we enjoyed craft beer and doing crazy modifiers on Iron Banner. We just craziest streams ever, and something that we collectively look forward to. Heck, the group that wanted to be part of it grew from being like 4 people up to 12, 16 people, and we had to start capping it and rotating people through. We love Iron Banner. This Iron Banner it just doesn't feel like Iron Banner to me in so many ways. And I've got a list of gripes, and the first gripe I want to talk about is the 4v4 format. My big problem with 4v4 format is you have such strong team dynamics that some of the mayhem that was characteristic in 6s is gone. Now you get coordinated teams going in there, and unfortunately it just makes it a higher skilled gameplay experience. You have to be more on point than when it was sixes, even in Control, right, which is supposed to be a little bit more directing, more fun, not competitive. It feels very competitive. So what are your guys' thoughts on the 4v4 now that I've given my biased opinion?
I definitely miss the 6v6. I mean, I definitely understand 4v4 in a lot of the situations, but I think moving from 6v6 to just straight 4v4, it completely removed a lot of variety. So previously, we had 2v2s, 3v3s, and 6v6. And now we're just 4v4. And while I can definitely understand why that would be... I don't dislike 4v4. I dislike that it's only 4v4 is what it is. Because what happens is, it's a lot sweatier. There is less opportunity for individual encounters. Because you're just going to be, if you're a decent player, you're going to be just hanging like a group, because if you want to win, you have to do that team shot. And while I don't particularly think the team shot is too terrible, but don't quote me on that. I am not like the Crucible maven here. Sure. But, I mean, you can't peel off and have 2 individual encounters like you could with 6v6 or even 3. Right. There is less opportunity for excitement. And the dynamic is, frankly, a little bit too streamlined for me.
It's too the same across the board. Yeah. So the reason that I would prefer sixes again is just the same reason that I'm not willing to turn our Tuesday night into a guided games if someone misses at night. It's just about people. Like, I want to play with my friends. For Iron Banner and Brews in particular, the that format is it's been very altered by the fact that there's only 4 now. Now, we did have an idea. There are 8 people that will fit in a PlayStation party, right?
Yep, so, and that was usually our limit, was actually the PlayStation party more than anything else.
Right, so we could have had 12 and had 2 teams going in before, but the party won't handle it. Right. But with this, we could have 2 full fire teams, fighting, and then you shuffle the players afterward, and all the drinking games ensue. So we can still work around it, but as far as actually the way the game functions, I like 4s better than 6s. I just like it. I'm a Halo player from way back. I like 4s. And I like team shooting. I like the way the game functions now, right? But I will say this: Iron Banner feels the same. It's just PvP with different armor drops. Exactly.
And that's probably my biggest frustration on the 4v4 format, is more the missed opportunity than what it actually is. Because if I jump into Iron Banner right now, and like we are later tonight, or I jump into Quick Play, is that going to feel any different of an experience? It's going to feel very much the same experience.
Quick Play is going to have more variety.
Well, yeah, you're going to jump from Control to, that god-awful game mode Supremacy. Oh, man, more salt
I love Supremacy.
I love Supremacy.
I hate Supremacy right
Sorry,
now.
Gray.
I liked it.
Remy.
Yeah.
I love
Maybe
Supremacy.
Well, that'll be a different gripe for a different show. Bring shotguns back to primary or energy slots, and then we can talk. But
Sidearm Supremacy. Come on.
So, but it just...
SMG.
I was actually... I didn't think that Bungie was actually going to do it, but I thought, man, this would be a great opportunity to bring 6s into the game only for this short period of time, 1 week of Iron Banner. This is your only chance to get 6s until the next Iron Banner. How exciting, how cool, how different would that be? There's so many things I want to try out in this game with a slower TTK, new guns, new weapons that function very differently, a totally new meta, right, where you're really rewarded for the team shot and scouts from a distance. How do you layer that on 6s? How does that feel in 6s? Iron Banner, this is our chance to get to feel it, and we didn't get to.
No. Yep. Even if it was doubles, even if it was 2v2, anything to different. Okay. So I'm gonna what I'm getting at, anything different.
Yeah, just something that's different.
So let me list the differences between Iron Banner and regular PvP, right? Okay, you've got the sultry tones of Saladin, right? I'm just like...
Oh, that's on my list of gripes. You want to go to that one next?
Oh, you don't like that? Oh,
how boring. Is he going to sleep? Is he watching us fight to represent the history of the Iron Lords. And the guy's got no passion behind it. The guy's like, oh, sorry, you woke me up. I was taking a nap. Oh, let me comment on your gameplay here. There's no excitement in his voice.
But did you guys see the Easter egg?
Yeah.
The Overwatch
with
thing?
Overwatch? Yeah, because
Yeah.
he is Reaper's voice, so he is the same voice actor, which makes it extra funny. But he's also like, I'm not getting old.
Yes, it was a good Easter egg,
Like, I
but
literally
he is
want to
so
throw my
much.
undies at the
Just
screen.
there's
It
no
was such a,
excitement. There's no
like-
passion. It's
Yeah, but it's a bedroom voice. He's using that bedroom voice, Gray. You're missing the excitement.
Die.
yes. So that is actually significantly. That is one of my gripes. So much of the dialogue is actually the exact same as Shax's dialogue, right? Word for word. At least
Yeah.
if you're gonna make it his, make it his. Make it his dialogue. Don't just have him re-record
Right.
Shax's lines.
Okay, so that's number one. Saladin's sexy voice is the number one difference. I agree. I like
Saladin,
Shaq.
what are you calling him, Saladin?
Saladin. It's like,
he's like a plucky street rat. I'm Saladin.
Yes.
And then
Welcome, Napoleon Dynamite. Welcome that latte cup. Just
latte
please
cup.
sit tight and
You
enjoy
rub
the
a
salt
little
fly.
gone
We'll
behind it,
move
Genie
into
pops
less
out.
salty sections
right.
later on.
Yeah, it's Arabian Nights. We rub the genie. Saladin comes out. I just like to call him Saladin. It sounds like salad.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, that latte cup. I appreciate you tuning in. So, okay, that's number one. We've got Saladin's sexy voice. We've got a new map. Well, that is a recycled map from before. I have not got that yet in queue.
Not one of my gripes.
But
No salt on that. I actually
I'm
love
okay with
that.
reusing that stuff.
Mhm.
If it's free, I'm okay with the reusing.
I'm fine with that.
I love being
but-
on a map that I actually feel very comfortable, very familiar, because I'm still learning all these maps. That is actually a positive move.
Right.
A lot of people don't think so. There's been a lot of salt in the community about bringing this map and whatnot. But like you said, Yuna, it was free. We didn't pay anything.
It's
Dude.
not a direct copy either. It's just reused,
It's smaller.
material.
Uh,
It's reused material, but the layout is different as far
yeah,
as
the
I can
textures
tell.
are new. They now put it on like Nessus instead of
Yeah.
Venus or wherever it was.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just-
Venus before.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the end of the list. There's only two.
That's
yeah,
it.
there's only two.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's a sexy voice on the map.
move on to my next gripe is no light level advantage, right? Which
Yeah.
just makes it more like current, quick play PvP. It doesn't give anything to distinguish what Iron Banner is compared to the other things that are out there. Not that I was surprised, right? They took light level out of trials. I didn't think that they were necessarily going to retain it, but it's just one more thing that makes Iron Banner just like what we currently have in the game. And I was talking with Hefty, my wife, on the way home today, and she was saying that one of the nice things about Iron Banner for her, because she plays a lot of Destiny, but she's not super into PvP, is Iron Banner, since she plays so much, she's always at a high light level, max light level, that she does better in Iron Banner because she's more likely to experience players at a lower light level that might only be coming around to play Iron Banner, that she has some advantage over them. Maybe her skill in PvP isn't as good, but since her light level is up, she has a little bit of an advantage and wins those encounters. And so taking that away negatively impacted the way she views Iron Banner and whether she wants to go in and play it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess from a technical point of view, I absolutely, totally understand their thinking on it. That doesn't mean that I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this then. Okay, are you at the end of your gripe list?
No.
Oh gosh.
My next gripe is the token system. Because think about how great Iron Banner was in Destiny 1, where you got experience, and if you lost the match, you got these coins, right, that you could turn. You didn't feel like it was worthless. I'm just burned out on the token thing all in general, right?
Yeah.
Go to this vendor, turn in tokens. Go to this vendor, turn in tokens. Go to this planet, go talk to your NPC, turn in tokens. I get bored turning in tokens. I don't like that. It's random currency that I get no enjoyment. I prefer gaining experience, even if it was just the same thing, right? instead of turning in tokens, you're going to gain experience. And I liked building up those lost tokens. I mean, I didn't like building them up. Don't get me wrong. I don't like losing, but I like knowing that. Oh, I'm at 2 losses in a row, 3 losses in a row, 4 losses in a row. Oh my God, what the heck is going on with us? 5 losses in a row. All right, now we don't get anything if we keep losing. We have to win one. Right. I loved that feeling. Now that's gone. You get some less tokens if you lose. You get a few more tokens if you win, and you don't have that same mechanic. And I miss that old mechanic in Destiny 1. I think they did that right, and I think what they're doing now is not as enjoyable.
Yeah, and we've discussed tokens a little bit too, in that all right, right now, Tefty has over 2,000 gunsmith tokens. And they go to 999, and he lets it say he's stacked it twice already. So, yeah. And then so what's going to happen if the next expansion comes out and he has like 2,000 with all of us? What are they going to do? They're going to have to. Yeah. They're going to have to reset those tokens somehow. Or, and this would be even worse.
Can you imagine the backlash?
Oh, well, I know, but I mean, what else are they going to do, right? Or what's going to happen is the expansion's going to come down to, I'm going to walk around to all the vendors and I'm going to press a button a bunch of times.
Yep. And then I'm late.
Have
I'm
everything.
Yep.
I'm done. Yeah, right. So like, that's the only option they have is to wipe tokens out. All tokens in your inventory will be deleted. Like, they'll have to tell people that. Or, and I don't like this any better, they have to restart new currencies. Like, you're going to have Gunsmith
different tokens.
Token Season 2 or whatever. I mean, like...
Yeah, so Season 1 tokens only drop at a max light of 305 or 300, right. And it's only the old weapons that you can get. And that seems like a really hard thing to program. I'm more in favor of saying, look, the expansion's coming out on this date, the light level's going to bump up to 350, and if you do not use your tokens, they will expire and be removed from your inventory.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll have to do. All right.
Yeah, they will have to do that.
All right, next one's a quick one. I'm not that unhappy, but I'm a little underwhelmed at the weapons and the armor. Reskins are reskins. That's fine. That's not that big a deal. Maybe it's the way that you're acquiring them bothers me a little bit. And
because it takes away the fun of ooh, am I going to get that drop? Because you're not going to get that drop.
After
you have
drops,
to go and turn it in.
We haven't really brought this up, but I haven't thought about this. PvP is where, in Iron Banners, where we experience this the most. You could see in your, the end screen what everybody else got for drops. And now we can't really do that, can we?
Yeah, we can't. No, it's all individual.
Yeah. So to be like, oh man, you got the Sparrow? You got the super rare Sparrow? That's so cool, Mark. I don't get to do that. I have to wait for you to tell me over the mic, and then I'm going to call you a liar because I don't believe what you say you got anyways. Put it on. I'm going to inspect your inventory. All right, so that's weapon and gears. I'm not actually that bothered by it, and actually for what I've played so far, I haven't gotten any packages, so I have to kind of wait to even experience them. And that kind of maxes it out. The last thing I had on here was just the whole removal of gaining experience in general in the game, whether it's with the factions, whether it's with Iron Banner, trials, those kinds of things. I always trials is a bad example, but I always like gaining experience in with those individual things. And the whole token thing, just I'm done. I don't want tokens.
Yeah, that's what that latte cup is saying. Overwhelming with the tokens. She also calls the whole system virtual Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Which I totally love it.
Just less fun though. Significantly less fun than Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. So she would like to actually hear our opinions on trials. I think Gray's probably in a better position. I've tried it once. Me and Waka went in, and we just got these. Of course, it should be said we are primarily PvE players. We're in Destiny 1. I'm trying to become PvP centric more in Destiny 2, but man, we didn't even get a win, right? And what I'm told, it depends on when you play. Also, the more weeks that go by, I guess the more sweaty players are still the only ones left. Like the people who aren't sweaty have left. Right. But are you happy with it? Like as I can see, the Iron Banner. I don't think any of us were like super like happy with that. But like, what about trials? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I've played a fair bit of Trials. I've gotten to my 7 wins. I got the emblem. I didn't go flawless. We got 6 wins until we were handed our first loss, which was a little bit too bad. But usually when we go in with our regular team that we play with, we'll get 4 or 5 wins. If it's a good run at the right time, then we'll get higher. But overall I enjoy Trials in Destiny 2 more than in Destiny 1. I think it's a more team-oriented game with the 4v4 and the slower TTK, and the longer range gets rewarded, which plays to my strengths. I prefer that type of gameplay. So all in all, yeah, I'm actually very satisfied with it. There's a few things that I would certainly change. They need to cut down that intro video significantly. Maybe only show the opponents, not your own team and the guns and the emotes and all that kind of stuff. That just kind of wears on me. Make the matches, at least the time between. I like it too, but after a while, after you've played a lot of Trials, Mark, you're just like, okay, it's now been another 4 minutes between matches. Like, come on, let's get this thing moving. I like it that I don't have to go and inspect the players to see what they're going to be using, but that's the only thing I care about. I know what my team is doing, and if they change something, they're going to tell me. So just show the other team and cut out half of that video. And I do like that it locks your weapons and gear. So when you're going into Trials for that whole round, those are good, excellent moves by Bungie on Trials.
So let's talk about what's different about Trials versus Iron Banner, right? Okay, this is not me being sassy. I like to be sassy all the time, but so what we have, different game type, right? Like we've got a more compelling, I would say a more compelling game type in survival and in, what's the one that you disarm the stuff?
Countdown.
Countdown. So you have more compelling game types, for sure, right? That's one. And you've got this card, right, that tracks your progress, and it's very you're really worried about getting.
It's more tangible.
Yeah, and you see your progress building up along this card. So, I think one time you said something very profound to me, Gray, and that was, whenever someone comes to me with a problem, I get kind of irritated at them. Is this profound or just snarky? Either way, I like it. When someone comes to me with a problem, I like them to also come to me with a possible solution, whether it actually is going to solve it or not. So what is looking at what Trials and feels good, and then it's slightly different but feels good. Iron Banner, slightly different than before, feels bad. Is there anything there, between those two, or is there any ideas that we have that would make Iron Banner more compelling than it is?
The first thing that I would do as a solution, re-enable light level advantage, re-enable 6s on it, and provide some sort of tracking system and reward system for losses. Those are some of the things that I would check off here. But if you're going to do one thing to get me excited about Trials, and this would complete everything.
Iron Banner?
Iron Banner. Yep. Make it 6s. Make it the only time that you can go in and have 6s is during Iron Banner, and you would see this community rally behind Iron Banner because they would love the 6s. They would love knowing that this is my time to go and enjoy 6s. And then when it's gone, people aren't going to be complaining about 6s as much because they know they just got to wait a few weeks. That's an Iron Banner thing now. That's a special Iron Banner thing.
I can say that there was one thing about Iron Banner that we didn't talk about that I was a little disappointed in that they completely missed a golden opportunity for lore.
Well, they just rewrote some history, right?
I walked up to Saladin. See, I almost said Saladin. I walked up to Saladin, and he's talking to me like he doesn't recognize my character, which stinks because almost every other character recognizes my character from D1. He made me an Iron Lady. And meanwhile, he's like, and he's like, oh, hi, dude. I don't know who you are. I'm just like Tara Karn, and I'm losing my brain.
Game breaking, really immersion breaking experience to go in there and have him, hey, didn't we just finish Rise of Iron? Didn't I just do all that stuff for you? And we became bros. And now
just
you don't know who
popped
I am,
Yeah.
and now you're acting like Ephrodite's dead because you say you're the last surviving
The
Iron
last
Lord.
Iron Lord. Also, why are they at the tower and why are they not at the farm?
Yeah,
The farm
was
is
a
severely
ghost town.
underutilized, and that would have been perfect to get
Yeah.
people to go to and for another change of scenery.
Uh-huh.
And I just,
Mhm.
and you know,
Yep.
they should have had a mission to start it off to explain
Yeah.
what it is, because you have players like us who did play Destiny 1 and we're Iron Lords and ladies and have all that history in our heads.
Oh,
But what about the general player that is just starting? They walk up and they're like, okay, what is this? Okay, I guess I'll go do this. What's
whatever.
the point?
Dude's got a flaming shield. I'm gonna do what he said. Have you seen that?
But that's it. Like, they don't get
He's got
any
that
kind of
bedroom voice.
they don't get any story from it.
Right.
Yeah.
When
That's-
the Iron Lords have like a huge amount of story with them. They don't get any story with it.
Yeah, at
And
least
they
do a
don't
recap.
actually get a clear, concise reason why we're doing this. Like, oh, I'm just like Shax.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's it.
that's true.
Yep.
I agree with you. Like I think there's a whole lot of missed opportunities there. I feel like they're trying to cram as many different, like you got faction. I think they put more thought maybe behind the faction rallies than they did the Iron Banner. This time it's kind of an afterthought. So maybe who knows what we'll see. I hope we see some differences. I really, really do.
Well, and I think it's a missed opportunity if they were to have something which is a it's a throwback or commentary on Rise of Iron, right? There should be something that ties those two storylines together. Our experience in Rise of Iron, especially because it was the last content we played before we jumped into Destiny 2. Say you're a new player, maybe their concern is, okay, a new player isn't going to get that. That was an expansion, it was a paid DLC. There's so much content in there that we don't necessarily want that in the back of the heads of the brand new player. Put just enough of it that you sit there and go, this is kind of a cool sounding story. I want to go back and just play that content. I want to play those story missions. I want to go run that raid because I just jumped into this game. I've never played Destiny 1. I love Destiny 2. I want to go back and experience what everybody was doing for the last 3 years. But I mean, they missed it. They missed that.
Yeah, and Saladin's like, if you want to know all about what happened, for one payment of $29.95, you receive the Destiny 1 experience.
Yeah, buy now, buy the complete edition. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Go right to Eververse. She's selling it.
Hold X to purchase. Yeah, I would buy for whatever he says, man. I'm doing it. That's it.
Man,
I
put me
can't
to
help
sleep.
it.
All right, that's the end of Gray's Gripes. We've gone way over for my segment. So we'll dive, I think, right into the second segment of our show, which we are calling Explosive Rounds. What's Explosive Rounds?
This is things that in the game of Destiny that could make you rage, that could make you grumpy, but it's also fun things. For me, like fun things happen to me, and I'm like, this is making this NPC mad, or this this person in PvP mad. So I've got a few of those. This first one here, this was a little bit of PvP. I was playing Iron Banner with Blonde Boy Kells and Grizzly Dave. There's me missing a tether like a champion.
Yeah.
But then you see, like, I miss him, right? He kills me with his hammer, as you might expect. But look what Kells does. He just straight up just punches this hammer titan to death. Look at this. He shoots him a little bit, boom. Punches twice, down. So I just lost it. I think I made up some new Shax lines when he did that.
So you miss your tether.
No.
He's got full shield. I guess he does land a few shots and then 2 melees on a hammer titan. Yeah.
He's just like walking right away.
I could see that hammer titan being a little bit upset.
A little salty.
I think he might have had some things to say about that. But yeah, I think he shoots like half of his shield down, punches him twice, and he's down. That is crazy. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I'm using my super, I feel weaker than ever before. Like I'm like, do I get a health nerf when I'm using my super?
Especially like the tether is a good example where you're in your animation for so long that if you try to like, I'm gonna charge into a group and tether, like you're just done. Like you're in your animation for so long that you just get team shot out of it. That's what my experience has been. All right, let's see what we're looking at here on vid 2.
Yeah, so this is Lurg, the Burning Shield. You might have encountered him.
Oh my gosh.
what's funny is the thing that we're working on, the salvage mission, is also called a rupture eruption, which I would call phrasing. Who named that? So
A rupture eruption. Someone with a filthy mind.
I agree, and I appreciate them. So, he has so much health though. The guy takes like straight 5 minutes to burn down.
Right.
And in this clip, Yuna and I had been like, I think we stayed up way too late that night, so just constantly doing
again.
Yeah, that shield slam that sends you across the map is pretty epic. I like that one though.
I said, and I quote, "Whee!"
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I think this is our last explosive round clip of the night.
It is. So this was sent in by Napoleon, our one of our content producers here for
4v1.
Yeah, you can see people are just leaving it like crazy. I have never played on this map yet because I didn't play Trials.
Oh, I haven't either.
Weeks. It looks so amazing. I love the aesthetic of it. It'd be a great place to do some screenshots if we get some custom games.
So she gives the wave, which is typically like, a sign of peace. You're gonna
code like, you guys win. There's one of me and 4 of you. Some jerk doesn't take that. Cool Maya there. Great. Cool Maya instead of Jeremiah. I like his naming style. Then it goes into the next the segment. They're probably feeling pretty guilty about it at this point. Why did we do this to this poor lone guardian? And so through body language alone, she's able to send the message that let's have a dance party. So here we go, just dancing around the corner. Oh look, let's just be friends. What do you think's gonna happen?
I know what's gonna happen.
I know what's gonna happen too.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. Titan smash! Oh my gosh!
As she waits for her super to charge slowly, it's charged. Bam! Man, that's low, Napoleon. Napoleon, I know you're in chat. That was low.
Your honor has been so, but the clip was worth it and actually she felt super guilty about that. She was like, I felt so bad afterwards, But yeah, great clip. So the other guys on the other team were probably like, what the bananas? You saw that one guy and he shot his Nova bomb straight up, like as a sign of friendship. And then smash. It was so good. I love that. She put that on Twitter. Got quite a bit of heat actually. So yeah, that was a great.
Thank you, Napoleon, for submitting the clip. All right, our next segment of the show is Yuna's Musings. What do we got, Yuna?
Yeah. So I want to talk about lore because I don't think we've actually talked about the state of lore in the new game or anything like that. And while I may not be the super major lore buff that other members of the community are, I love lore and I love stories and I love the lore in Destiny 1, even though some people say there's no lore in Destiny 1, there's no story.
You just gotta read it.
You just gotta look for it. So my main question to start off with was, the lore in D2 is presented in a very, very different way from D1. And now this isn't to rehash some of that other stuff. I just want your own personal opinion. Which one do you like better? Because they both actually have their own positives. Now that we've gone through D2, there is some positives about the lore in D1 that is slightly better than in D2, but D2 also has its own perks. So,
well, I'm going to start with one positive, and that is the way that they present the lore in the adventures. I think that's a great way to build up some flavor and some information as far as what's going on with the environment, with the characters, with the story, with backstory. I think that they did something very right in how they structured those adventures. Some are better than others, but there's some adventures that still stick in the back of my head. Like, man, that was such a clever way and a great experience to learn more about the story about this world. One knock that I would say is I kind of miss the grimoire a little bit. I kind of miss building grimoire and getting rewarded for completing something in the game and getting a card or going into a map for the first time, killing so many, thrall, that kind of thing, and getting that information. Now, granted, Destiny 1 got a lot of knocks for not presenting that information in game, but there was tons of tools out there to go and get access to that information. I think they could have brought some of it more dynamically in the game, even just by putting the silly cards in the game in menu screens. Because Destiny 1, if there's one thing it didn't have enough of, it was menu screens. So they could just put more cards in there as menu screens, and that satisfy at least a certain portion of the database. That's my one positive. Adventures are fantastic, but I think for those that are going to do things in the game and want some reward from that, or at least a metric to show that you've experienced this, the Grimoire,
Right.
for those who don't play Grimoire Golf, that was good, and I'm kind of bummed that they took that out.
Yeah. Sorry. That latte cup is cracking me up in the chat. Everything, the answer. I have a token. That's I have a token. That's what you need. We're working on the Grenades and Horseshoes show. We're working with Blue Crew and Green Eyed Music Lover from Focus Fire Chat, and they're supplying us with some lore that they're actually writing for the doodle guns that Plain Ben is making as well. So we're going to feature some of those soon. So we actually have lore chats with them, talking about lore and how they feel. Because I actually don't care about lore. I don't care about the story at all. I don't care. So either way is fine with me. But I was interested to hear how they felt, because as people who do really care about the lore, I was like, are you guys upset there's no grimoire, right? Is that something that you're upset about? And Blue Crew, not only did he give me a great answer, but he gave me just this whole psychology course about like how people who have trouble adapting to new things aren't. Maybe he doesn't want me saying this on the air, but he's just like, okay, if you have people who can adapt well are more genetically fit to further the human race. I'm misquoting him.
He basically convinced you that you're poor breeding stock. That's what he did, because you didn't like the change in lore in Destiny 2.
No.
Oh, Blue. I like it.
I don't know what it says about my genetics that I don't care either way. I don't care. I don't care either way. But I was like, are you guys? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, I was like, are you guys upset? Do you feel let down? There's no physical grimoire. And he said, no, I like the way that it is now as well. It tells everything. If I could make one change, he said, it would be that the lore that I have unlocked needs to be accessible somewhere. So like, we're dealing with vault space issues here. You don't want to lose anything that has any lore anywhere. But in order to access it, wow, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to like start the game, and then you're going to have to put the weapon onto your character, and you're going to have to open the lore tab.
You can actually read it from within the app.
Can you? Okay, I didn't know that. So, but you have to open the weapon to read it? Okay. Yes. So what he and a lot of the other lore people in Green Eyed Music Lover agreed, what they would like to see is a way to access the lore without going through that. A list, a grimoire, if you will, kind of like the way it was. And also, don't listen to my quotes about his any of that stuff on the other thing.
You might be misquoting.
Yeah, I think I'm putting a terrible sounding spin on it. But yeah, tune in to Focus Fire Chat on they run on Twitch on Thursday night, Friday night, Thursday night. Anyway,
I'm not entirely sure.
Check them out.
I listen to everything on iTunes.
Yeah. So yeah, look them up on iTunes. Yeah. So. Yeah, anyway,
what are your thoughts? You didn't share what your opinion is on how the lore
I wanted to get your opinion first, because I was kind of setting my opinion, but I want to see if you guys could budget. And no.
Okay.
So here's the thing is, I'm definitely of the opinion that there are plus and minuses to both systems. And what I see primarily is a missed opportunity, because I'm someone who plays a lot of RPGs, and one of the things that these RPGs do is that when you unlock like a story mission, like saying like a Final Fantasy, you do get there is a menu where you can go in and read about, like, say for example, I unlock a new character, or I recruit a new character to my party, I get a dossier on them because I've unlocked that and I can read that, and they do that for like a bestiary too. So while I definitely understand that they definitely wanted to put it into the game more, and I think they did a really good job at putting in the game, I think I agree they did not do well at kind of solidifying what you have already accessed. Like the scannables, for example, that's a great one. So we don't have ghosts, which is a super big disappointment for me. I remember running through the first mission. I'm like, where are the ghosts? Where are the ghosts?
Oh,
I'm not finding
dead
any
ghosts.
I spent,
We don't have dead ghosts.
Yeah, we don't have any dead ghosts. I'm like, where are they? Where are they? And then like I just kept looking for them for like a good like 6 levels, and then like finally I'm like,
I'm bad at searching for dead
I
ghosts.
don't have any ghosts.
Yeah. The only
no
dead
calcified
ghost is yours
fragments.
at the end of the homecoming mission.
Yeah, no kidding. And because there is that excitement about, you know, being like, ooh, I found that, and I explored and I got that. And that was honestly, and I know it was such a like a pain in the hiney and the keister for a lot of people to kind of go through and get those and hunt those down, but man, it was like really cool. It was like playing hide and seek, but digitally.
Yeah. Scavenger hunt.
Yeah, it was so. I thought it was so much fun, and you know, the scannables are awesome. Being able to find the scannables and have, you know, the ghost talk to me is definitely a step up from what they did with the scannables after the Taken King. But there's no way to know which ones I've hit.
Right.
And eventually they do reset, so I could walk by the same one. I'm like, ooh, new scannable. It's like, no, I already heard this like 7 times.
Yeah, that's where I'd be tracking to see, is my Grimoire score increasing, right? Have I scanned this before? Oh, my Grimoire score didn't go up, so I must have scanned this already. But like you said, like I'm now walking around the tower going, did I scan this? I don't know. Have I been here? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of the things that like that too, it's like, why not both?
Right.
You know, like why not all those lines that you've written and for the scannables even, why not have those contained and within the app? And you know, why not have, you know, access to your lore that you've unlocked on your weapons attainable in the game, in the app in some better organized way?
Right.
And maybe they do plan to. I do know that the website and the app is not in its final form, so we can look forward to new things. So,
yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, I know that they're still, you know, working on that 3D model stuff, and because I do miss the 3D model of my guardian, being able to be like at work, showing my buddies, and be like, look at how cute she is.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And, that is kind of a bummer that there's not.
I would take screenshots and to like help me like plan for cosplay and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, so we got that. So any final thoughts on that particular point, either of you?
I mean, I think we as a panel here feel pretty confident that Bungie made some moves in the right direction. They took some things away that seemed kind of, you know, beneficial. We'll see, because it seems like, you know, what is Destiny 2 going to look like a year from now? I'm hoping a lot of these things that we as a community are saying, hey, we used to have these and we actually did appreciate them. If Bungie's saying, yeah, we know it's been in the works, it's just we had to get the platform up and running before we could add those features, or was it something they said, heck, we thought that that wasn't something that you guys really enjoyed, and now that we're hearing that that's something the community wants, we're going to go back and we're going to add it. You know, either way, I task that to the live team. That's kind of on their desk as something that they should be tracking and accomplishing. So I'm really curious. You know, we have some gripes. Obviously, this is probably the saltiest show we've had so far for Grenades and Horseshoes. But I'm hopeful that a year from now, we're not going to be talking about these same issues.
Yeah. Disclaimer: we still play way too much Destiny. It's okay.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're those people that are like, I hate Coca-Cola. Where can I get a 24-pack?
Yeah. Well, Yuna, thank you for that segment of Yuna's musings, and that jumps us. You're not done?
I'm not done yet. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Not moving on.
I do have one more little part on there. Oh, great! Now I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Greg. Ultimate troll.
Not my intention.
Okay, a moment of silence.
Oh my god. Yeah, moment of silence for my brain, please. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I can't remember what I was gonna say. I was up early for work this morning.
Fair enough. Can I say my thing now? Or not?
And We'll pick this up next week when I regain my facilities in my brain.
I'm actually dying to know what it is. It's like, man. Okay, well, if you think of it,
Yes.
we'll go on to Destiny Squared, which is my weekly segment here, and I've got a couple of videos to show. I just want to keep people informed about some things you can do in Destiny that you might not have thought of. So I lived through a lot of content gap with Destiny 1, as we all did. So what you have here is how to ride a Sparrow very aggressively and possibly dangerously. So I started doing Derpa Sherpa clips from my PlayStation onto Twitter, me rolling my Sparrow in different ways. And I found that if you put the button Sparrow down and you hit your boosters, you can survive almost any crash. Like, because it's got the downforce, like you can fall from like any height. And if your tail section is down, so all right, so that's what's going on, and you can see Jelly Belly 100 is there with me, right? So then let's play the next video. And so he's got the idea then to call the community to task on this particular area in Destiny for now, and he's going to find others. But it's called, what is it called? I wrote it down because I forget everything. Artifact's Edge. So you'll spawn in there on Nessus if you spawn in at Artifact's Edge, up really high on a tower, and just summon your Sparrow up there and just do that latte cup, please. And then at me on Twitter or at Jelly Belly. He is at PSN Jelly Belly on Twitter, or maybe hashtag it GNH Sparrow Dive or something like that, so we can find it. But yeah, we're at GNH Show. But anyway, we want to see what you guys have got as far as Sparrow dives, and we'll kind of just start a community movement there. And he's going to be looking for other places to drop your Sparrow off of. So basically, what I'm and you can check out his YouTube as well. His YouTube is JellyBelly100 Jellyvision. But if you go to his Twitter there at PSN Jelly Belly, you can find his YouTube's linked on there. But yeah, so check that out. So, but what the whole point of all that is I think sometimes we forget it is a game. We're here to have fun with our friends. There's a whole lot of things you can do, and the ways you can play the game that aren't necessarily intended. Well, I say they aren't intended, but my goodness, there's so many ways, so many things happening you're like, did they want us to find this? Did they want us to do this? Yeah, so here's Jelly's video he has up on his YouTube now. So he's well, but good thing the guy was on his fire team, even knocked him down. So he did 3 runs. This one, I can't believe he survived that one. Why do I love this so much?
Yeah, I almost Jelly's going to do what he's going to do, but I almost want to do our own little Guardian, or our own Grenades and Horseshoes competition here, and see who can do the longest Sparrow spin before it either kicks you off or rights itself.
Right.
Absolutely. And
I haven't tried this yet.
Yeah. So if you do this, send us a link to your clip. You can either add us at Twitter, any one of us, or you can do it to the main Grenades and Horseshoes Twitter, or you can shoot us an email at GandHFeedback@gmail.com, and we'll track these, and then we'll show it here on the podcast.
Yeah.
Compilation.
Yeah, anything crazy we find on Twitter, we would have to contact you before we would share that, if unless you add us, and then it's understood that we can share it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm sure Jelly would be on board with that. And Jelly, as you guys probably know, or maybe not, is the voice for Grenades and Horseshoes. So he is actually a content producer for here on the show as well. So he introduces the show and takes us out every week with his sultry tones. So yeah, so he'd be on board with that. Anything we want to do, he's all about. He's just a good time guardian, having a great time, coming up with all kinds of weird challenges. He used to help us come up with, with our weekly challenge. He still does sometimes as well. So great guy. So check him out at PSN Jelly Belly. So that's my Destiny Squared for the week. Nothing serious, as per usual.
Nice. Thank you for that, Mark Square. And that brings us to the end of episode 12 of Grenades and Horseshoes. We thank everybody in the Planet Destiny Twitch chat for coming out and supporting us. You can catch the show, the recorded version, on iTunes, on Podbean, on Stitcher, on the Google Play Store. Just search for Grenades and Horseshoes, and we will be there. You also check us out on our YouTube page. That'll be up here in a couple days. We get the live video, which if you want to see the different clips that we show, if you want to see our beautiful faces and Mark Square's art, certainly check out the YouTube upload on that channel. Give it a like and a follow if you do. And we hope to see you guys next week, but it's not actually going to happen because Mark Square is going on vacation to Florida for a week, and I am going to Austin, Texas for a few days for the Formula One race down there. So I'm going to be gone, Mark's going to be gone, so we won't have a show next week. We're going to be moving it to that following Wednesday. Will be our episode 13. Lucky number 13 on the 25th will be our spooktacular Grenades and Horseshoes Halloween special. So I don't know, guys. You think we're going to get a Festival of the Lost maybe by then? Resets on the 24th?
Perhaps.
I hope so.
I'm really, really hoping so, because I know some people are like, oh, it's just rehashed. It's like, no, who cares? It's fun.
It's part of
me.
I have integrated it as part of my Halloween festivities.
Don't do it. Don't take it away from me.
Right. Yeah. So we will be back on the 25th for episode 13. And then just like every week, Jelly, take us out. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you can't catch the live show, then you can find the replays on the Grenades and Horseshoes YouTube channel. If you'd like to stay connected to the community during the week, you can reach us at our show Twitter handle, @GNHShow, or at our individual handles, @MarkSquare_, @GreyGhost2E, and @Unalala. We're also open to any ideas you may have, or seeing any clips that you would like to send in. Please send the feedback to GandHFeedback@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.